What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. We are back with another little fun video. We're gonna be talking about more Supergirl, and then also we have a video that we're gonna react to from Snarky J Cosplay. I've covered some of her videos before in the past. She did one when she talked about Assassin's Creed, and then one that was primarily a Rumble video, and then she did two videos revolving around Supergirl. She went and saw the movie. She did a review of that. She didn't like it, and then she dropped one last week. Because we're in the same sphere as we always are when it comes to these female-led superhero movies, where the fans get the blame. I've had a few people comment on recent videos I did where they're talking about how Millie Alcock was talking about how it was the reference of how some people like to control women's bodies, and everybody's like, well, how do y'all know she's talking about men? She said people, and common sense and context clues would literally tell you who she's talking about. So I don't know. It's just we're just in the situation where every time, whether it's Supergirl, the Marvels, the Acolyte, whatever, whenever a show or a movie fails, it automatically goes into, oh, it was the chuds. It was, misogynistic men and things like that. Even though there are plenty of women out there who have also come out and said they did not like Supergirl. They only want to focus on the men. So we're gonna dive into that video by Snarky J. As of right now, Supergirl just finished up their last week, their second week. And box office wise, it has not really been good for Supergirl whatsoever. Now, right now, globally, Supergirl is, at the time of me recording this video, Supergirl is grossing roughly about 79.1 million globally, and about almost 47 million domestically, and then 32 million world or internationally. So that's not very good. Now the movie itself, they'll claim the budget was like, I know I talked about it in the video I did just before the movie came out. I don't remember what I said about the budget. So the budget, this is between 170 and 180. Let's just say, let's round it up to an even 200, including some marketing and things like that. Even though I think from a marketing standpoint, there wasn't that much going on with the movie. But let's just round it up to 200. Their budget was $200 or $200 million. Right now, second weekend, you're probably looking at maybe 85 to maybe $90 million globally from the box office. And right now, it just does not seem Supergirl is on pace to do really, really well. But yeah, I'm not surprised though. I gave my review of it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was. There are a lot of people who are a lot harsher on it than I am. I gave it like a 5 out of 10. I don't think Millie Alcock was the. I don't think she's the main reason why the movie was bad. But you can't ignore the comments she made when she spoke to the media. Now, again, part of that, it falls on the hands of her handler, James Gunn, Warner Brothers, for not properly getting her prepared for these questions. Because, again, the media is not your friend. And time again, through these interviews that she did with Variety, Um, they typically posted the comments that would get the most attention. And even then, they even like roasted the movie when they did their review. So a lot of it, there's a lot of blame that goes around with James Gunn, Millie Alcock's handler for not setting her up. Um, I want to say the writer. I believe. Let me see. I believe the writer for Supergirl. She's also. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think she is also slated to write Super Wonder Woman and Teen Titans. We'll see how how far that goes. Um, I had somebody I don't remember if it was on TikTok or YouTube, but I had some. I did like a short little clip talking about like why I thought Lobo wasn't really needed. He wasn't important for the movie, and then somebody commented talking about how they introduced him to set up his own movie, which I'm just kind of like, why would you make a Lobo movie? That just seems pretty dumb. But we'll see. And now you got Clayface that's gonna drop um here in a couple months, which I that is Matt. It's I'm trying to remember about the Clayface. I know Matt Reeves is like a producer or executive producer or like a title like that with that movie. But I think it's set in the James Gunn universe because that Clayface is supposedly the same Clayface that you saw in Creature Commando. But we'll see. We'll see. So let us check out
Supergirl's.
Well, that's not what I wanted. Let's see here. Um Alright, let's check out this video by Snarky J Cosplay. And yeah, we'll see what she has to say about it.
First weekend at the box office seems to have finally cemented it as a super flop. Hey y'all, Snarky J Cosplay here. I know what you're thinking. This bitch again. I'm kidding. I hope you're not thinking that. No, what you are thinking is, why are you dressed as Wonder Woman right now? Well, there's a couple great answers for that I could give, but they'd probably get me lobotomized. So the real reason why I'm wearing Wonder Woman for this is, one, I was dressed as Supergirl for the Supergirl review, and I found that whole experience deeply traumatizing. I don't want to be her anymore. That was a mistake. And two, I figured if we're talking about female-led superhero films, then I might as well dress.
Oh, this might be interesting. What are y'all's thoughts? Yeah, I like Snarky J. I think she's fine. Like, I don't really have an issue with her. I think she's a pretty funny person to watch. Pretty good cosplayer. I really like all her cosplays that she does. So, very curious to see on what y'all think about her.
Up as the most iconic, arguably, female superhero of all time, whose movie we didn't hate despite being vile incels and chuds and whatever the hell else.
I liked the first Wonder Woman. I didn't like Wonder Woman 84. I did not like that one.
They're calling people that didn't like Supergirl online, but let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, all right? We're talking about the box office. Opening weekend for Supergirl is officially over, and it's actually performing worse than anybody could have anticipated. Personally, I thought this movie was going to do a lot better than this. In its opening weekend,
I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be like 200 million opening weekend. Maybe not 200 million opening weekend. I can't remember what Superman did. Superman did close to 200 million opening weekend. So I figured Supergirl could potentially get around that same mark. But no, apparently not. Apparently not. It is just not doing well.
The new Supergirl film only managed to earn $37.1 million in North America and $62.6 million globally. It's been...
Now, again, keep in mind, this is from like last week, so obviously, and I just talked about the box office numbers at the beginning.
underperforming. It really has. They're expecting that this film could lose Warner Bros. Up to $100
Yikes.
million, which is not great
No.
for the studio. And this devastatingly underwhelming first weekend at the box office puts it in the ranks of classic Marvel films, like The Marvels, which opened to $46.1 million, that's still $8 million more than this earned, and one of Sony's most beloved Spider-Man villain films, Morbius, which opened to $39 million, also still more than Supergirl earned. You would think that at this point everybody at DC is freaking the f out, but no. In fact, Peter Safran actually said, while Supergirl didn't meet our box office expectations, it's just one component of a broader long-term strategy at DC Studios that we remain confident in.
So like here's the thing, like also, and this probably goes along with Marvel as well, in the sense of you can't keep losing money at the rate you are, especially when you have these overflated budgets for these movies. And again, let's just say Supergirl, rounded up ballpark, the budget was $200 million. You're at the rate it's going, you're not going to make that money back. You can't keep losing money. Like people, like, how would you feel if you invested into something expecting to get like your return, maybe, you know, plus interest or whatever, but the thing that you invested the money in keeps losing more money? You're at a certain point, you're probably going to be like, you know what? I don't like losing money. Nobody likes losing money. Let's be honest here. Nobody likes losing money. Again, and we also got to take into account with the, you know, merger and everything that's going on with Paramount Plus, Warner Brothers. That could have some implications as well, with how the future of DC looks in some of these projects. But again, it's been just insane watching how a lot of these movies, not just Marvel, not just DC, but just movies in general, have these overinflated budgets, and not probably maybe like 7 times out of 10, maybe like 6 times out of 10, maybe 60% of the time, they don't make their money back. So it's interesting, which I think, like Toy Story, I don't know, I can't think of what their budget is right now. They're probably going to make their money back. We had Obsession. They definitely made their money back. Backrooms probably made their money back. They did do a lot of like marketing for their stuff, and the word of mouth, because people were familiar with the Backrooms. Yeah, I could probably see that one potentially making its money back. So we'll see.
One component of a broader strategy. Is the strategy to tank the entire studio? Because I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. If this is a strategy, like if Supergirl underperforming and being what it was strategic, I don't want to see what the rest of that strategy looks like. It looks like when I would purposely lose at basketball in middle school because I knew I sucked at it. I knew they were going to want to beat me up if I was bad, so I tried to get out of the game as quickly as possible so that I wouldn't have a worse time after class. That's exactly what this feels like. Me purposely f***ing up at basketball because I was bad at the gig anyway. But when it comes to the court of public opinion, the box office doesn't mean everything, right?
True, it doesn't. It doesn't mean everything. So
have plenty of movies that I've enjoyed that have been major box office underperformers that I really liked. And at the end of the day, if Supergirl was your jam, you don't really...
Probably like for me, I think a good example was like a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people really didn't go and see it, but I actually kind of like He-Man or Masters of the Universe. They came out last month or late May. I actually kind of liked it. Yeah, the script wasn't that great or anything like that. It wasn't like world beating, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. So there are movies where, like, to me, I mean, Starkey J also said it, somewhat said it as well. The box office numbers isn't always everything to me. Like there are some movies that I enjoyed that from a box office standpoint, didn't do relatively well. So I'm sure there's a lot of people like that as well.
Care that it didn't earn a lot at the box office. And I will say, for anybody watching this, if Supergirl was your jam, good for you. I've always lived by
So I know I saw somebody on a friend of mine. She wrote on Instagram, and she said that she loved Supergirl. She loved every ounce of it, and she wasn't really happy about. I guess she had some pretty bad guys like in the theater that were like laughing or cutting up during the movie and everything like that. But I have another friend who loves Woman of Tomorrow, like the graphic novel and everything, and she hated. Well, hated. I know she didn't like Lobo, but she just wasn't that big of a fan of the movie for the most part.
a few simple sayings. Don't squat with your spurs on. That's not the one that I live by that makes sense here. The one that actually makes sense, and I made up, so there's really no concise way to say this, but I've always felt that we can agree to disagree on just about anything. But you know what? If we do it respectfully, you can still count on a seat at my table and a plate if you needed it at the end of the day. I've always felt that way. The internet doesn't like that perspective.
Right.
So
No, they don't. And it's literally insane. And I've said it several times too, whenever I do TV, like reviews of TV shows, movies, trailer reactions, whatever. Like, it may not look good to me, but I'm gonna go watch it, and it could change my mind and my thought of the movie. But at the end of the day, if you like the movie, good for you. You know what? I'm happy that you enjoyed the movie. The movie just was not personally my cup of tea.
Looking to go scorched earth on this movie, for sure. But there's a lot of people looking to go scorched earth on the folks that went scorched earth on the movie.
True.
In fact, I have seen a number of interesting themes in my own comment section. Some of them have to do with my looks.
I'm honestly baffled because it's literally bringing up like new levels of people being angry on the internet. My new favorite thing is I've gotten easily 50 comments with the sentence.
When did Supergirl get fat? Oh, wait, it's just Snarky J. She talked a lot about movies, but could never be in one. Yeah, these are just retarded people. Like, you could probably say it goes both sides of the aisle when it comes to like whether you like a movie or you don't like a movie. Sometimes there are people that are way too extreme. Like, I was seeing people like I haven't seen people say it, but people would talk about tweets about, they'll show pictures like Millie Alcock and everything. They're like, people are calling her ugly. Like, again, I have not seen anybody call her ugly. Are there like trolls and stuff like that and dummies on the internet? Sure. But like, I personally haven't seen it.
Sentiment that I am too fat or too ugly to have an opinion. If we had to be
Also, the person who, like, the people who make those type of comments like that, they couldn't even pull Snarky J. Like, they're probably fat themselves. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows?
beautiful to have an opinion. Like, if being fat or ugly or both meant you did not get to have an opinion, a lot of us would have to shut the f*** up, not just me.
A lot of them seem to think
What's this?
that
Oh, look, the pick-me girl agreed with whatever the red pill douche said online. I'm shocked. It's always interesting how, like, people will go and watch. Like, if you don't like Snarky J, why are you going and watching and commenting on her video? Wouldn't you just ignore her?
I have the opinions that I have and I voice them the way that I do because I seek to please a male audience. If you go back and watch any of my videos where I'm not in cosplay, I wear 9 rings. I wear one on almost every finger except for this one. Do you think if my goal in life was to please a man, there still wouldn't be a ring on this finger by age 25? Come on, I don't exist to please anybody. I'm a an asshole. A lot of people also saw.
What does this one say? So you're gonna give us some actual reasons why it sucked, or are you simply pandering to the MAGA incels okay, who hate the movie for reasons that have nothing to do with the actual movie. It is so crazy, like when people go and actually list out the things about the movie or show that they did not like, you still get comments like this. It literally makes no sense. You just like I talked about the movie, and there were things about it I didn't like. Like a lot of convenience for the sake of the plot is some things about the movie I didn't like. Because I talked about how like I didn't like the villains. I thought they were lame. There was nothing really interesting about them. I don't know why the Krim, the main villain, was always eating something every time he was on screen. I thought it was really stupid, and only for the plot to give Supergirl her superhero moment. When you take her to a planet, you have a binary star system with a green sun that basically emits kryptonite radiation, and also a yellow sun. Why would you take her to a planet that does that? It just doesn't make sense. You would like, and not only that, Krim had kryptonite arrows, so he knows kryptonite hurts her. So why would you take her to a planet that yes has like a kryptonite type of sun that can kill her, but also a yellow sun to give her her powers? Like it's just like what do we again? It was for the plot of the movie, so Supergirl can wear her suit, be the hero that she needs to be, and things like that. So that's just some things about that I was like I didn't like about the movie, but yeah. And also Jason Momoa wasn't really necessary in the movie, kind of pointless.
A dislike of a film, well written, well organized, scripted, and explained as some sort of political statement.
I even got a bunch of petty comments from people that were upset that I cosplayed this version of Supergirl when I didn't even like her, when I'm such a lying grifter. Here's the funny part. Bought this secondhand from a friend before the movie ever came out because I do charity events for kids, and they don't care how well a movie performed at the box office. They just see a cape and they're excited. So I bought Supergirl so that I wouldn't have to constantly be Wonder Woman in pants.
And I actually even encountered some
The YouTube channels are worse than Hollywood. Please, Congress start making these people pay to post idiotic videos. I haven't really gotten comments like that, which to be quite honest, I don't really care. I usually don't pay any mind to them, unless there's like a genuine question, or like something like that. But generally speaking, I don't really care what you say in the comment section. Obviously, as long as that's like entirely stupid or whatever. But generally, like you're allowed to say whatever you want in the comments. But like, come on, what do we? There is a limit. Like, have some class.
calls to literally start charging for freedom of speech. That's where we're at with superhero films. If you don't like a female-led superhero film, you now should have to pay the government to have an opinion on YouTube. But a big part of the discourse surrounding this film, and the reason why I really wanted to make a video talking about the box office earnings, is that a lot of people claim that all of the discourse surrounding this movie, all of the complaints, the low ratings, the box office bomb that this movie has become, a lot of people on the internet are claiming that it has to do with misogyny. This is a real post.
Yep. Oh, okay, good. She's gonna show some. I thought about showing some, but I forgot to like save them on Twitter and everything. I doubt I have one. Let me see. I think I did save maybe one. Let me go back. Let me look real quick. No, that's not it. No, okay, I didn't save any. Okay.
That I found on Twitter. Part of it reads,
All right. You know what? Let her read it.
Why aren't women showing up for Supergirl like they did for Barbie if it's for women? Probably at least in part because men have made engaging with superhero media a miserable experience for women for years at this point. I think part of the reason Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, and The Force Awakens did well was because women were not yet overexposed to the relentless misogyny in these spaces.
I did see this.
I've been a sci-fi fan and I've been reading comics longer than most, and it's hard to talk about. I find this discussion to be interesting and also completely unrewarding, claiming that films like Wonder Woman and The Force Awakens, which were female-led, only did well because they were in a time before this outright misogyny.
So let's, real quick, let's be very much clear about something. Starkey J may talk about it too. So that post mentioned Barbie. Why did more women show up for Barbie than let me back up a little bit. Let's see. Why aren't women showing up for Supergirl like they did for Barbie? It's for women. Barbie is for women. Comic books, superheroes, Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, those are male-centric things. That doesn't mean women can't be a part of those things. But this is a situation of not knowing your audience. Like, I mean, I have video games in there too. These are male-dominated things. I think I saw with Supergirl that there was like somebody shared like a demographic. I don't know if it was real or not, but they talked about how about almost 60% of the people who went and saw Supergirl were men. And a lot of times women aren't just going to go by themselves to go watch a movie like this. A lot of times it's going to be with either like if with family, their boyfriends, their husbands. Whereas Barbie, they could probably just get their girlfriends together, go see Barbie with no problem at all. So it's like knowing your audience. Why would again, I've said this so many times. If my audience is predominantly male, let's say I bought Star Wars from Disney. Let's just say I bought Star Wars. And I know that 60-70% of the fan base are male. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to design my product to appease that 70% because that 70% is going to provide me the most profit. There's going to be like I'll do, add something for that 30%, but you can't reverse it. You can't only appeal to a 30% and expect that 30% provide you the profit to make your movie successful. You just can't do that. You can't ignore or belittle 70% of a fan base. Like it's just I hope that makes sense. It's just a weird thing.
Only did well because they were in a time before this outright misogyny existed on the internet. If we're talking about people giving women a hard time on the internet, people have given women a hard time since the beginning of time. God gave women a hard time on purpose. So realistically, that makes no sense to me. Honestly, the only reason I give that sort of argument any validity is because I have seen in my own comment section that a lot of the complaints about this movie are due to the star not being the type of the viewer. I don't think it's kind to call anybody too ugly to be a superhero. And I also admit
I agree. Like I said, like I've seen those posts and stuff like that. Like Millie Alcock is like, this is probably a good example of me like seeing it for the first time. I was trying to think back, like if I've seen people call her ugly. I have seen people do, like this little post here or this little image, something like that. Yeah, Millie Alcock. She's pretty attractive. She's okay. But they like flat out call her ugly. I don't agree with that. She's fine. She's okay. So
don't think it's kind to call anybody too ugly to be a superhero. And I also admittedly don't think it's a valid argument as to whether or not a superhero film is good. So you didn't have the hots for the actress on the screen. That does not make the film a bad movie.
True.
There's also the argument that goes back to the political spectrum, also brought to you by Twitter. I completely understand why a very specific demographic hates these movies. One is about an illegal alien ruining the plans of a billionaire to colonize and wipe out another country. That's an interesting way of framing Superman 2025. And the other is about a woman bringing down a child trafficking ring and sliming out pedos.
So about I'll let her finish. About I've seen people also bring this up too, about Supergirl taking down a human trafficking ring. Supergirl was gonna ignore it. The only reason she got involved was for crypto. The whole plot of the movie revolves around saving crypto. She has 3 days to track down the brigands and get the antidote that will cure crypto from the poison that Krem shot him with. It really had what the brigand were doing wasn't really that important to Supergirl. Now it had to be dealt with in the plot of the movie and everything, but really it had nothing to do with it. She didn't stop it out of the kindness of her heart. Well, let me back up. She yes, she did work to set the girls free. But I still would say the main purpose of her dealing with the brigands and dealing with Krem was for her to get the antidote for crypto. Those two goals just happened to intertwine with each other. So
Hashtag strange times. Both of those sound like movies that I would enjoy had they been well accomplished. You know what would make watching a woman slime out pedos that much more satisfying? If she hadn't done it to the world's worst Jimmy Eat World, the middle cover ever f***ing heard. I also, if we're gonna play the game here, I'd also like to point out that making every film that has to do with being a female superhero somehow tied into men and men's desires and sex trafficking, for instance. It pretty much just victimizes women and claims that this is the only thing that could be done to us that is bad. This is the only thing we would fight for. I think that's a little misogynistic. I don't think that storyline needed to be there. But the funny thing is that when I
thought that too. Again, that's why I mentioned why I was like, it's not that important to the plot, because again, the plot is to find Krem, get the antidote, save crypto.
My review, I hadn't actually watched any of the reviews of my mostly male counterparts that do the same thing. I still haven't. When I finish making a review, 9 times out of 10, I really don't want to watch anybody else's review. I'm tired of talking about the film. But in my comments section, there were so many people saying, well, how are they going to claim that this movie is only doing poorly because of woman-hating chuds and incels if you're a woman and you say you don't like it? Well, I've had to read comments like, yawn, a woman who hates women and would actively destroy women just to
so you see, again, this is another thing. You find a woman who doesn't like the movie, your first instinct is to belittle that person. Like, what are we doing here?
Men to like her. We already have been over this. I'm not trying to please men. And she knows hating women is the fastest way to make money on any of the social sites. Is it the fact that I'm a woman that means I have to be obsessed with every female-led thing? Ignore all the Catwoman cows back there, okay? They have nothing to do with anything. I don't have to like every female superhero.
A lot of Catwoman cows.
I don't have to like every shitty movie that comes out. Is what is in my pants the key to determining what movies I can or can't like? Because I'm going to have to erase a bunch off my list if so. My whole point was that the movie itself was not good. Is it misogyny when I also hated Superman? I don't like James Gunn stuff. And yeah, sure, James Gunn is not the director of this. His fingerprints are all over it. He is leading the DCU. His brand is on the DCU now. It's all there. It doesn't matter that he wasn't titled as the director. It feels like a James Gunn movie because it basically is. The choices that were made in the film are not an argument of man versus woman, incel versus feminist, chud versus innocent woman just trying to have a good time. In my opinion, I thought it was a bad movie. In the opinion of a lot of people on the internet, it was a bad movie. The fact that we can't just sit here and go, I liked Supergirl. Oh, that's cool. I didn't. Nice. And move on, to me, is absolutely fucking incredible. I cannot believe that we live in a society.
A lot of that falls into the political realm as well, because it's just kind of like you either, like, you can't agree to disagree. It has to be, oh, you don't like this? Oh, you're a misogynistic person. Da da da. Oh, you didn't vote for, let's say, Kamala Harris. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're misogynistic. Whereas the person just like, no, I just didn't like her. Vice versa, the same thing could go with Trump. So it's just that is the state of not just the United States, but the world. It's just like that. You can't. There's no longer I'm sure you could find people where it's like you can agree to disagree on something, but then there's like extremes about it on both sides.
Like this, I didn't think that it would be this big an issue. When I didn't like James Gunn's Superman, a lot of people were aggravated with me, and that was the end of it. This, however, has sparked a fire where any opinion contrary to the film being good essentially turns into some sort of woman-hating battle cry. And it's sad to me that we live in this type of era. I used to love debating superhero films with people and talking about box office expectations. I've always been that kind of nerd. Like, I like this stuff. That's why I do what I do. And to me, it's incredible that we've gotten here. I've seen some comments. I would be lying if I didn't say that I've seen comments about Millie Alcock, the star of this film, and about her character that border on, I can't abide by this, for sure. But I would argue that a good 70 to 80% of the criticism of this film is valid. It's people talking about the script. It's people talking about the music, about the pacing, about it being a poor adaptation of a well-known comic arc. That's what the criticism is. But these people want to use this misogyny thing as a shield. They essentially want to take a very vocal minority and claim that they represent the majority. I find it so ironic that anybody who claims to be a feminist and wants to defend women, defend female-led anything, would come to my channel, a channel that is made entirely by a woman. There is not a man who has a hand in anything that happens on this channel, and that they would come to this channel and claim that my opinions are either for men or written by men, as if I am incapable of having my own opinions as a woman, because of course everything I do has to revolve around a man. Do they not see the irony in that? Is that not ironic? To be trying so vehemently to defend a poorly made female-led superhero film and then disparaging other women in the process of it. Disparaging real women, by the way. You can take me at my word or not when I say this, but I really wanted this film to do well. You know why? Because Wonder Woman had such a profound effect on me. I grew up loving her in the animated series. I really loved a lot of her comic book runs. And when I
the first time I was introduced into Supergirl was through Superman the animated series. That was like the first time I was introduced to Supergirl, and obviously, I've just seen her through different media, whether it was Sasha Cale or Call, I forgot how you pronounce her last name, when she was Supergirl in The Flash. I thought she looked great. Melissa, I can't pronounce her last name. I want to say Bonest. I don't know why I want to say Bonest, but Melissa, who plays Supergirl in the CW. I was fine with her. I didn't have a problem with her. I thought she did relatively well. Uh, we got a Supergirl in Smallville. I love Smallville. Um, what other Supergirls did we get? Did we get a Supergirl in Justice League or in Young Justice? I don't think we did. Huh. That's one that's interesting. I didn't never notice that. We never got a. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It was basically towards the end of the series. I remember now because she was on Apocalypse. Okay, yeah, it's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me.
Think about it, right? I have seen the effect that Wonder Woman 2017, that film, what it did for me. What it did for me to see a woman kicking ass and taking names. Because if you ask me, Wonder Woman 2017 is a good movie. And I really wanted Supergirl to do that for other people. And I wanted to feel further inspired by Supergirl. I thought by that second trailer that dropped that it was going to be really good. That was so much better than I anticipated. I really think that there is something good to be had with
I don't think I responded. I don't think I reacted to the second trailer.
Movie. This looks promising. I hate to admit it, but I think James Gunn might have cooked with this one. I caught flack for saying I thought it was going to be good. And I really held out hope for it. Because for me, there is space for every female superhero line to do well. I'd love to have a cosplay closet full of them and know that they are all well represented and that there are good examples for girls and boys. Because when I do charity events at hospitals and I go see children with medical complexities at different centers, I see that the girls are so excited to see Wonder Woman, but the boys are also so excited to ask me questions about Superman, about the Invisible Jet. They've got all these questions for me. And I see the effect that a positive female superhero can have on so many people. Choosing Woman of Tomorrow to adapt for Supergirl, I think was already a risky move. But when the character is already so flawed in the film, and then essentially commits a murder in cold blood by the end of it, I didn't feel inspired by her at any point. I thought her flying into space and screaming out of frustration was totally relatable, that's for sure. But did I see her and feel inspired? Did I feel good when I was sitting in the theater wearing her outfit? Did I feel good about it? I wanted to get out of it immediately. And that's why I'm in this, because I feel much better now. And all of that pretty much is not even relevant to the discussion. My review is not based on whether or not I think this version of Kara Zor-El is a good role model. I didn't make my video and my review and base my opinion on the fact that I didn't want to wear that uniform anymore afterwards. Does it make me sad that Supergirl did poorly? For a number of reasons, yes. I want movies to be good. Yeah. I wanted to walk out of that theater wearing that cape with pride and excited for my next chance to wear it. And instead, I think I'm gonna let it collect dust, much like any Supergirl DVD that they make, because I don't see more than 10 Twitter warriors buying this when it drops on physical. But hey, at least it's spouting some great philosophical discussions online. And that's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more Snarky J, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. And let me know why you think Supergirl is bombing so hard at the box office in the comments below.
Okay. All right, there we have it. So that was a very fun video by Snarky J Cosplay. Really enjoy her content that she makes. Very insightful. Yeah, like, it does suck that Supergirl is not performing well. And I talked about it too when I did my review. I was just like, it has to stop with because ultimately the blame falls with the studio. It falls with James Gunn. It falls with the writer, and everything with Supergirl. It falls with Hollywood. You can't keep blaming fans for hating something that they paid money for. Like, where I live, it's like $13 for a movie nowadays. And I don't go to the movies very often. I usually, depending on what I want to watch. Like, especially if you're a father and you're taking your kids that's probably like $50+ that you're having to spend, and your kids might not like it. So that's $50 that you just wasted. Again, it is what it is. And like again, I hate that the movie sucked. I think Millie Alcock is fine. I think, you know, I liked her in House of the Dragon, the first season. I think she'll grow. I think she'll get more opportunities to star and stuff because she's already going to be in Man of Tomorrow anyway. Um, we'll see how that plays out when because that movie's supposed to come out next year actually. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. We will see. But overall, guys, drop in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the video? What are your thoughts on Supergirl? If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe. You can also find me on the Shawnee D Man Gaming channel, Kick, Twitch, Rumble, the Nerd Talk podcast on Spotify. All that you can find down in the description below. But once again, thank you for hanging out. Thank you again for watching. And I will see you all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.